between the first and second corners, up to 119, now up to 120. The RPMs there at 7,300, fluctuating between 71 and 7,800. The throttle responses, Dale has it all the way to the floor now on the backstretch. He is in fourth gear. Some great information coming from the Ford telemetry, and now he begins to apply the brakes as he sets the car into turn number 5. It gets way off the throttle, shifts to third, speed reducing to about 88 miles an hour, all the way down to 86 before he comes out of the corner and begins to stand on the throttle once again and accelerate up to 120, 135. Look at the speed increase out of turn number 5, headed for turn number 6. Speed increasing once again, second gear.
And here's trouble, big trouble here in turn 5.
Oh, a car is upside down.
Bob, there are two cars. They came in here so fast, and one of them did hit the other one and did get upside down. Both of them hit very hard.
I believe that's JD McDuffie who is on his roof.
And one of the drivers is coming out of the car right now.
That's Jimmy Means. And now he's going to see if he can assist JD McDuffie in getting out of his car. McDuffie's car is on its roof, and Jimmy Means is calling for assistance. This is turn number 5, the one that has created so many problems here at Watkins Glen, not only in Winston Cup racing, but also in GTP competition. There's McDuffie.
There's a wheel. Where in the world did that wheel come from as JD plows in the wall, and evidently he has, and Jimmy Means goes into the wall while Means is in the air. Thank the Lord that he went in there while JD was up in the air.
It appeared as if that wheel had come off the car before he left the racetrack and went on to the grassy area there, but there is major damage to the wall, as you can see, and of course our major concern is the condition of JD McDuffie. The other car involved is Jimmy Means, and he is already out of his car. The ambulance on the scene now assisting JD. We'll be back with more from the Budweiser at the Glen in a moment. Glen, the race has been stopped. We've had a serious crash over in turn number 5, and here is a replay of what happened. JD McDuffie and Jimmy Means involved. This is McDuffie, the wheel already off the car, sliding off the track into the grass. He makes hard contact with that tire barrier in turn number 5. Then the car overturns. Meanwhile, Jimmy Means also slides into the tire barrier. His car stays upright, but Means, or rather McDuffie's car, is in an inverted state at the moment. Now Means was able to climb out of his car almost immediately. He went to check on JD McDuffie and signaled for the ambulance, and the ambulance, as you can see, has arrived on the scene. Here's Ned with Jimmy.
Well, thank goodness Jimmy Means is out here walking around. A little bit of a skin there on the chin. Everything else okay, Jimmy?
Yeah, Ned, I don't know what happened. You know, I've been looking. JD's been in my mirror the whole time, and you know, I was kind of watching him. He's running really good, and I don't know where I cut down on him or he come in there, lost his brakes or what. But next thing I knew, it, you know, hit me in the side. I hope he's all right. You know, he took a pretty bad leg care, so I'm fine. But I don't know about JD.
Well, you went right under him, it looked like, when his car was up in the air.
Yeah, I believe it did. You know, I don't know what happened. It just seemed like, you know, if you lose your brakes going down that straightaway, and nothing else to do. But I don't know if that's what happened or not.
Well, we appreciate you coming by and chatting with us, and hope everything else is okay.
Thank you, Neil.
Jimmy Means, one of those involved in this crash down in turn number 5. This is the same corner that Tom Kendall was injured in a few weeks ago in a GTP car when his suspension or hub broke on that car, and he went in hard and is now probably watching this race this afternoon from his home in California and doing well in his recuperation from leg and feet injury suffered in that crash. And now we are looking at the scene of the crash where they continue to try to get JD McDuffie out of that car. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
Bob, I'm standing in JD McDuffie's pit, and as you see, most of the crew members who work on JD's car week in and week out are not here. They have already left to go back to the garage area to check on JD's condition. Now, they had radioed to JD a couple of times after the accident and had not heard back from him. That doesn't mean that JD is injured. Doesn't mean anything at all. As a matter of fact, if you remember back at Talladega when they had the major pileup in May, the crew of Kyle Petty couldn't talk to Kyle because Kyle's radio had come unconnected, which is not uncommon with an impact on a racetrack, and they thought Kyle was more seriously injured than he was, and they were, of course, afraid. But the crew here unable to talk to JD, so they have left the pit area, headed back to the garage area to try to get more information, and we'll update you when we hear more from down here.
You just never know about the severity of these crashes. As you indicated, Jerry, some that look very bad turn out to be not all that bad as far as injuries are concerned. And on the other hand, some that don't look too bad can result in serious injuries. All we can do right now is just pray that JD is okay and he can be gotten out of that car quickly into the ambulance and treated at a local hospital. In the meantime, with the race stopped here at Watkins Glen, we'll take this break. Jerry Punch now with Chip Williams from NASCAR.
Well, with further information on the status of JD McDuffie, here is Chip Williams, the Director of Public Relations for NASCAR. And Chip, what's the information?
Jerry and Bill, I regret to inform you that JD McDuffie has passed away. He was 53 years old. Of course, our hearts right now is with wife Ima Jean and his children, Jeff and Linda, and it's really a pretty sad day right now.
A terrible tragedy here at Watkins Glen. And of course, Chip, in the interest of safety, whenever there is a tragedy like that, you're always trying to find out possibly the cause of death to try to prevent this from happening in the future. Is there any information now as to what may have happened?
Well, right now, we don't know about the cause of death because of the autopsy is scheduled for in the morning. As far as what happened to the race car, it looks like a possibility of a wheel breaking loose. We're going to look into that. We're going to look at the race car and see what we can find out from there. Of course, we're not going to be able to do that until after the race.
A terrible tragedy here at Watkins Glen. And Chip Williams, thanks for coming out from NASCAR Control and giving us information. That was not what we wanted to hear, but unfortunately, that occurs in the sport of motorsports. Bob?
It is always difficult to report the death of any race driver. They know the dangers and the hazards, and they choose to race because they love it so very much. JD McDuffie was in his 653rd Winston Cup race. He had never won a Winston Cup event. But just last night, ironically enough, at Owego, New York at Shangri-La Speedway, JD McDuffie was involved in a celebrity race. And JD McDuffie, driving the 07 car, believe it or not, took the checkered flag first and won that race just down the road from Watkins Glen International, where his career ended today. JD got out of the car with his son Jeff watching and received the applause and the congratulations of all of those in the grandstand. JD McDuffie leaves his wife Jean and 2 children, Jeff and Linda. And our sincere condolences to all of the McDuffie family from all of us here at ESPN.
Gene, I know exactly what you're going through, sweetheart. And you fans out there, you wonder how these guys can get in these cars and go back out and restart this race. Hey, it's their job. It's what they do. There's 100,000 people here this afternoon to watch them do that job. There's not a one of these drivers that wants to be in that race car right now. They want to be in the garage area, hugging their wife, their girlfriend, their mom, their crew members, whoever. I don't want to be here now. I want to be over there looking at Ned and looking at Bob and just not saying anything. But we've got a job to do, and that's to report to you who wins, who loses, and what happens during the day. Gene, we all love you, and we're sorry.